What's up everybody, my name is Chassidy. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Welcome to day 11 of Vlogmas. We are almost halfway done. Okay. In this video, as the title suggests, we are just gonna be talking about TV and movies. I'm gonna talk to you about what is on my watch list and what I recommend you all watch. I tried to really focus on things that I just watched in the month of December, so let's get started. Okay, so I did put them in categories and I'll list the categories down below in case you want to jump around. So the categories are must see, worth the watch, lighthearted, sad, a series that I like, a Christmas movie, and then what I'm watching next. So let me start with the must see, okay? It's blank. My must see is blank. I have quite a few worth the watches, but I don't have anything that I'm like, no, seriously, like you have to, girl, you gotta see this, okay? If this wasn't focused strictly on this December and I was talking about the whole year, 2021, I think a must watch that I would recommend is Bad Trip. Bad Trip is about two friends, one friend who has a sister who just broke out of jail, that is Tiffany Haddish, and then the other friend who is like madly in love with this girl from high school. Basically in the movie, they are taking a trip to New York from, I don't remember where exactly they live, but they're taking a trip to New York from whatever state they currently live in to try and find the one friend's dream girl. Along the way, obviously, there's all kind of issues. They run into all kinds of trouble. Meanwhile, Tiffany Haddish, the sister, she is chasing them and trying to find them because they stole her car. But what makes this so great and definitely a must see is, although there's a storyline, the way they set up this movie is in reality. So anytime anything went wrong, so for example, one of the friends was in a bar and like fell off of something and started throwing up, they did it in a real bar. They did it with real human reactions. So you get to see real human responses to the stupid stuff that goes on, but it's not so much like Jackass, you know what I'm saying? It's not like a bunch of pranks and stuff like that. There's an actual storyline and they do actual stupid stuff and you get to see people's real reactions to the stupid stuff. And it is the funniest movie that I have watched in a very long time. So it is definitely a must see if you want to watch something funny. So that is the only movie that I wanted to talk about that I watched outside of the month of December. Okay, let's move on to what I think is worth the watch. So worth the watch means that this is pretty good, and if you ain't got nothing else to watch, definitely throw it on. So the first show that I want to talk about is a Netflix original, and that is True Story. That one is starring Wesley Snipes and Kevin Hart. So basically the whole series is about one really bad night and then doing all these things to cover up / fix that night. So Kevin Hart is a star comedian in the show, and then Wesley Snipes is his brother. The brother has all kinds of issues, which just adds on to everything that's going on with that struggling night. So word on the streets is it is loosely based on Kevin Hart's scandal when he had an affair on his wife. When you watch it, you'll be like, what all parts of this is based on your life, and why is this called True Story? You know, it'll definitely, you know, have you wondering like what parts are real. Kevin Hart does play a serious role throughout the whole series, which is something that I struggled with a little bit. Personally, you know, it's very hard to take Kevin Hart seriously. I feel like there are some comedians that can just bounce from, you know, genre to genre, but then there's other comedians that you're like, I only want to see you do something funny. And I know that Kevin Hart has done several movies to where he plays more of a serious role, but I still struggle with taking him seriously. Taking him seriously in a serious role. Does that make sense? However, Wesley Snipes is in the show, and we all know he is a killer actor. Like, he is an amazing actor, so that kind of helps, You know what I'm saying? That kind of helps with Kevin Hart just a little bit, in my opinion. But overall, I think it's about 8 episodes. It is definitely worth the watch. So another Netflix original that we actually just watched last night that I think is new to Netflix is The Unforgivable, and this one is starring Sandra Bullock. It also has Viola Davis in it. I feel like that's kind of just a name drop because she's honestly barely in it, okay? But it does star Sandra Bullock, and basically it is a movie all about Sandra Bullock who went to prison and was in prison for 20 years, and she just got out and she's trying to find a sister that she hadn't seen since before, you know, she went to prison. The sister was a little girl when she went to prison, so the sister doesn't really remember her. In the movie, you kind of get to see what happens to convicts when they get out of prison, and all the battles that they kind of still have to fight afterwards. And then also on the other end with the sister, you kind of get to see a little bit of what trauma does to somebody. So overall, it was intriguing. Again, it's not something that I would say is a must see, but it is a worth the watch for sure. Okay, 2 more worth the watches. The first one is King Richard. King Richard is the story about Venus and Serena Williams' father and how he went about getting them to be the greatest tennis players in the world. I know some people struggled with watching this because they felt like it painted their father in such a positive light when he has a lot of baggage. He did a lot of bad things prior. But I do think it is still worth a watch because it is very interesting, you know, Venus and Serena's story. It's very interesting seeing all the things that he did specific to that situation to get these girls to be great. It is very inspiring and motivating, and you get to see a little bit of, you know, his, I won't say bad side, but you get to see a little bit of him not being as good, I guess. I don't know. You get to see another side of him. So it's not all, you know, roses with the dad or anything like that. But I do think it is very interesting and inspiring and motivating. And it's awesome to see, you know, the story of the, you know, Venus and Serena. So I definitely think it is worth the watch. Okay, and then my last worth the watch is called Harlem. This is a, I think, 10 episode series. It is on Prime Video. This one stars Megan Good, and it is all about 4 friends doing life. I would say it is a mix of Sex and the City and Insecure. Obviously, it is a brand new series, so I'm not saying that it is on those levels, okay? I'm not saying, like, don't come for me if you've seen it. I'm not saying that it's on those levels quite a bit, but what I am saying is that, like, the storyline is a mix between those 2 shows. So Sex and the City, because it is definitely all about, you know, love and relationships and friendship. And then Insecure, I would say, because the character that Megan Good plays, she is from Harlem, and she's very much like all about her city. So it brings a lot of attention to like culture in Harlem, and, you know, just her loving on her city and highlighting the good of her city, similar to how Issa was very big on, you know, LA and highlighting LA and bringing light to all the positive in LA. Does that make sense? The only reason why I wouldn't put it on the must-see list is because, like, I want more from it. They handle situations very quickly for me, and I'm like, I want to dig deeper into that. So that's the only reason why I wouldn't put it on the must-see, but it is very interesting. There's also a little humor, you know, there's a little love, there's a little sex, you know, just a little bit of everything. So I do think it is definitely worth the watch. Okay, moving on to lighthearted. I think this is probably one of my favorite shows that I'm watching right now, and that is Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso is all about this American football coach who was hired to coach professional football, or soccer, I don't know why I'm doing quotes, or soccer in England. So he has never coached soccer before. He knows pretty much nothing about soccer, but he was hired to coach professional soccer in England. It is very sarcastic. It is very sweet. It is just so, it makes you feel good. It is feel good TV for sure. I love it so much. And it actually, I pulled up the information about it on Google, and it has a 94% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which I feel like that is one of the highest ratings I've I've ever seen on Rotten Tomatoes before. There are 2 seasons, 10 episodes each season. We blew through the first season and we're about halfway through the second season, and I just love it. If you just want something good to watch, this is something to watch for sure. Maybe that should be on my must-see list. That might be on my must-see list because I just love it so much. But I don't think it's for everybody. That's what I think. That's the only reason why I don't feel like I'm putting it on my must-see list, okay? Moving on to sad. This might not be sad for everybody, but this freaking series. So a lot of people on social media recommended this one to me and I finally sat down and watched it, and that is Maid. Maid is all about this young mother who was going through emotional abuse in her relationship, and she finally got the strength to leave. And when she did finally leave, it just shows all of the struggles of everything that she had to do to keep her daughter, provide for her daughter, find work, and basically live life. She didn't have a lot of help. She had help here and there, but she didn't have a lot of help from like family. So for me, it was very interesting. Like, it grabbed me in and I wanted to binge watch it for sure. But it was also just sad. Like, I felt like the sadness just never let up. It was one of those things that it was like, every time, you know, there was a little bit of good, like it was like the next scene was bad all over again. Like, that's it. That was enough good, you know, in this episode. Even on the happy note that the series ended on, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, it probably didn't even work out. Like, that's how sad this show was. It is still definitely worth the watch because it is very intriguing and it will hook you in. So Maid is definitely one to watch. And then the last recommendation that I have is a Christmas movie. Here's what I want to say about Christmas movies. I love the cheesy, romantic, Lifetime type Christmas movies. You know, the ones where you already know what's gonna happen in the end. The girl's gonna get the guy's gonna get the girl. It's going to be the best friend all of along. You know, the whole shebang, okay? You already know what's gonna happen, but for some reason I still love these type of movies. I feel like I've never had any Christmas traditions outside of watching cheesy Lifetime Christmas movies every single year. So with that being said, if you are like me, I wanted to recommend one. It is not a new Christmas movie. It has been around for a while, but I did watch it in the month of December, which I said that's what this is all about. And that is Holidate. So Holidate is all about 2 people who are tired of being single during the holidays. So they end up being like, well, holidates, okay? They end up being like each other's date for all of the holidays. So they felt like there would be, you know, no strings attached and they could just go and have a good time. You know, they wouldn't cross the, you know, love line. Again, this is another one that is just full of sarcasm. So there's a lot of laughs in this. The whole movie, they're pretty much, you know, throwing shade and making fun of rom-coms and things like that. But we all know how it ended. You know what I'm saying? Like, even me just telling you about it, you already know how it ended. But I just feel like it was very lighthearted. I appreciated, you know, getting to laugh, and I feel like even though the conclusion is always the same, along the way, you know, the storyline was just a little bit different than every other one. So I just really enjoyed that one. I've watched it 2 years in a row now. So that is my Christmas movie that I would recommend. So in the midst of editing, I realized that I forgot to mention the series that I would recommend to you all. Obviously, a lot of the things that I recommended in this video so far are actually series. But when I'm saying the one series that I would recommend to you, I'm talking about the one that isn't fully out yet, the one that you have to watch 1 episode a week, which I know is freaking annoying. But the one that I had to mention was Dexter. So I forget what the new name is called, but Dexter has made a comeback after years and years and years of being over. And surprisingly, it is so good. It is so good. So if you liked the old Dexter series, I would definitely recommend watching the new one. I was curious to see, you know, how were they going to bring Dexter back after, you know, everything that happened in the end of the original Dexter series, but it has been very interesting and I look forward to it every single Sunday. It is part of my Sunday ritual, okay, for me and my boyfriend to sit down and watch it. So if you are interested in Dexter at all and haven't pulled the plug and watched the new stuff, definitely get into it. It is so good. Okay, and so those are all my recommendations, things that I've seen. What I am currently watching, or what is up next for me and what has been recommended to me over and over by multiple people, is Succession. So Succession is on HBO Max, and this one is all about siblings taking over a family business. I don't have a lot to say about it because I literally have only watched the first episode, but it is one that has been recommended over and over and over again. So that is what I'm watching next. And then also Love Life. So I think Love Life is also on HBO Max, is killing it right now. So I don't have any details on Love Life. All I do know about Love Life is that it's starring Anna Kendrick, who I think is a wonderful actress. And then again, this is just another one that a lot of people have recommended, and it has pretty good reviews online. So that's what I am watching next. So if you can co-sign on anything that I talked about throughout this video, if you're like, yes, that is worth the watch, or yes, that is a must see, please leave it in the comments down below. If there are any recommendations, things that you think I should see based on, you kind of can tell, you know, my type, you know, you can tell my type by my list. Please leave it in the comments down below. I hope you are having a wonderful holiday season. Thank you so much for watching another Vlogmas video. If you did like this one, will you hit the like button? If you aren't already subscribed, please consider subscribing, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.